Hey guys, today I wanted to shoot a quick video and show you how to install a pocket door frame. This is just the installation for the frame part, not for the whole steps for installing the door itself and trimming it out and everything. This is just to show you how to rough frame it when you're doing your framing to get ready for drywall. So I hope you enjoy this video. Here is the opening when it's rough framed. In my example, I'm doing a door that's 28 inches wide, so they recommend going twice that distance, which would be 56 inches, and add 1 inch, so it'd be 57 inches total. So for the rough opening, they recommend 84.5 inches minimum for the height. So I framed mine at 84.5 by 57 in my example. So here is the Johnson 1500 pocket door frame. It comes in a kit. And I'll include a link in the video description below the video where I found this for a really good price, and I'll pass that along to you guys where you can get it if you want. And this is a really nice kit. It has a really good track record. It comes with all the stuff you need to install it, to get ready for drywall, whatever you're doing. In this case, I'm showing it with new construction. So the one cool thing with this one in particular is you can do add-ons. You can do the soft stop feature on open and on close, or just on open, or both if you want, like I said. And I'll include a link in the video description where you can find those as well, along with the pocket door frame. So it's pretty cool, you can do different stuff with it. So once you unpack it, this should be all the stuff that you have. You have the header piece there, and you have the 4 side pieces. You got a couple rollers, and the bottom supports for the side pieces. So I'll show you how to put it all together. Alright guys, so the first thing you want to do when you're framing up your opening is to make sure that your top is level and that your sides are level. So get them as close as you can. Alright guys, so your first step is going to be determining what the size of the door is that you're putting in. Because for example, I'm going to use my tape measure to point here, but this is made for a 3-foot door by default, the way it comes. If you want it shorter, as you can see there's marks on here to cut it down. There's 2.8, 2.6, 2.4, and 2.0. Basically, if you don't want to think in feet and inches, it's 24 inches, 28 inches, 30 inches, 32, and 36. But you can figure it out. What they do is they mark you right where to cut it, and they're giving you an inch extra. So right now this whole thing is 73 inches because it's made for a 3-foot opening. So 3 foot plus 3 foot plus 1 inch. So what you do, in my example, I'm gonna go down to a 2.4, a 28 inch. So I'm gonna cut it right here, flip it over and cut the other side. And then I'm also gonna go on that end, and I gotta take that end piece off. It's got a Phillips screw in it. Take that off. Then on the upper side here is my mark for 2'4". So I cut it off there. Then on the underside under here, you have to cut the metal track 1 3/8 inch shorter than what the board is cut at. Just the same as it is on the end over there. If you're in doubt, you can measure that end. It basically gives room to put that end piece back on. So I'm just gonna use the Sawzall to cut this. Be careful not to cut too far. Flip it over and cut this side. Now we come on down to the end here, remove this. So then we find the correct mark, 2'4". Now if you're going back this far, there's a screw in here as well. Now the next step is to measure back 1 3/8, make a mark on here, and if you want you can square it, if you can't eye across there. So then you cut this. So that doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to get it as close as you can. Then you want to put this back on here, line it up even with the edge there, and just put the screw in kind of in the middle. Don't snug it down all the way and you'll see why, because you're going to need to adjust it soon. Now that your frame is all prepped to hang, the next thing they say to do is to measure up from the floor 80 3/4 inches, or from the subfloor 81.5. Now in my instance, I have cement floor. I'm not going to do a very thick floor at all, so I don't want a big gap under the door. So you have to kind of take that into consideration, whether you have carpet or linoleum or laminate, whatever you have for your floor. Because if you measure up 80 3/4, it'll give you a 3/4 inch gap. And then if you measure up 81.5, it'll give you an 1.5 inch gap. I don't want that much gap. I'm going to go with the 80 3/4, which will leave me a 3/4 inch. And then I'm going to do maybe about a 1/2 inch time I get my floor in there. So that'll leave about a 1/4 inch gap under the bathroom door. This is going into a bathroom, so you don't want much of a gap for privacy. If it's a closet or something like that, you might be fine with an inch gap. So just kind of take that into consideration when you're installing your door, what kind of gap you want when you're done, depending on what type of floor you're doing. So in my case, I'm gonna measure up 80 3/4 inches on both sides. So I also measured it centered for the width, basically like that. That way you hang it right in the center of your wall. Next, they say to drive a nail in those areas. I recommend using a screw because it's easy to remove it and change it if you do mess it up a little bit. And for this, I'm gonna use like a screw that has a low profile head, kind of like a nail, just for trimming purposes. Leave it sticking out about 1/8 of an inch. If it's a little more than 1/8, that won't hurt anything. Now next you want to hang your door frame, and depending which way you want it to open, this part here is where the door is going to be when it's finished. So this is what you want. In my particular case, I want the door to slide that way, to be closed in this position and slide that way when it's open. So this is the way I'm going to hang it. They have a bag of hardware up there in the track that they say not to remove until after installation, but it's really hard to level the track without removing that. So I'd say remove it, put it in a safe place. In my case, the side on the left is a little bit higher, so I'm gonna screw that fast where it is, and I'm gonna raise it up a little bit. So once you do that, then you just check it with the level again until you're happy with it, and then you tighten your screw all the way. All right, so next you drive all the rest of your screws in the ends there. Make sure that they're straight with the wall like that, and drive all those in. What we do is grab 2 of our side pieces there. You grab this clip for the bottom here. Now see the differences? There's holes up there on that end, that's up. This is the bottom. So all you do is simply slide this in like this. So they're both slid in like this. Next they say to use a chalk line and make a mark on either side of the door frame in the doorway there. I just use a pencil and a level. I think it's a lot less messy and a lot easier. So you just put it down here, get a straight line all the way across. So yeah, now you got a really nice level mark all the way across the bottom so you can see where to fasten your side pieces. Now that you got your side pieces assembled, you just go ahead and set them in, do the middle one first. Now you push them all the way tight against this. So once you have them standing in place there, then you level them. Make sure that they correspond with your measurements because you want that nice and level. And then in my case, it's going to be a little trickier since it's on cement. I have to fasten that bottom with adhesive. I have radiant heat in my floor, so I don't want to drive an anchor because it has a spot for driving an anchor. If you just have regular subfloor like OSB or plywood, it's really easy. You just fasten that baby down in the subfloor down there and then also put a screw in the top. So in my case, I'm gonna put construction adhesive down. For concrete, I recommend this stuff. It's Power Grab. It's made by Loctite. It is made specifically for concrete. It's very good stuff. I've used it on all my walls here and stuff, and it works really well. So I highly recommend that stuff. So yeah, now in my case, since I'm doing it on cement, I've got a bunch of glue down here. A little extra won't hurt, it'll squeeze out and I'll get rid of it later. What I did is when I leveled, I made a mark here extra big in case the glue covers it to show right where the edge goes. So I'm just gonna set this down on here. Like I said, if you're doing plywood or OSB, this is really easy. So I just set it on there, let some of that squeeze out, and you can always adjust this later before it cures. Then we're ready to fasten the top. So now you remember those things had holes on the backside of the metal, so you can screw through them. And you don't want to use anything longer than a 2.5 inch. So yeah, once you got that first one fastened, then you put the second one in and you center it in the opening of what's left there. And I would recommend putting 2 screws in the top there on both of those. I'll show you that they can get a little bit splitty there, but that's okay. You're going through wood and metal, so it'll hold just fine. So yeah, the next thing I wanted to show you, since in my application I'm doing it on a cement floor, I put these 2x4s in here. I screwed them on the end over here, and I screwed them on that end over there, and spaced these perfectly. You can see I didn't put the screws in all the way. I left them sticking out a little bit because they're long screws, and I didn't want to try to go through the metal in the back. Just enough to hold it. So what I did, since they can twist, in this case, I put one on each side. But in your case, if you have plywood or OSB subfloor, that'll be a piece of cake because you can just anchor right to that and no problem. And if you do have a cement floor where you don't have PEX tubing underneath, you're afraid of drilling through, I would recommend putting some Tapcons in too. In my case, like I said, with the PEX tubing, I don't want to take a chance on that, so I'm just going to glue it really well, and this glue holds really well. And I'll take it apart and show you now that it's all set up. Alright guys, now that my 2x4s are off, I wanted to give you one final look here. Alright guys, well I'm really happy how mine turned out. I hope yours turns out really well too. Let me know how you did in the comment section below the video. I enjoy hearing from you guys. And like I had mentioned earlier, I'll include a link in the video description below the video where I found this kit for a good price, and I'll pass that along to you guys. And yeah, if this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching. Do you want to say anything?
Hi.
Can you say give this video a thumbs up? Thumbs up, guys. Can you say subscribe to Daddy's channel?
Subscribe to this channel.
Alright guys, you heard him. Subscribe to my channel. Do you like the door?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, he likes the door.